I had an interesting fan question from Glenn Bell. Listen to what Glenn asked me.
Hi, Chael. Glenn Bell. Chael, I know some guys who are self-professed tough guys who, because of all the MMA that they watch, they think that they have more than a puncher's chance in a fight against somebody like yourself. So let's say we have a guy. He's never fought. He's never sparred. He's never trained. He's never even watched an MMA fight in his life. He gets into a fight with a guy, same weight, same height, but this guy has been training for 2.5 hours a day for a year at an MMA gym. Now let's take that same first guy. This guy still never sparred, never trained, never got into a fight. But this time, he's watched the UFC for over 25 years, never missed a match. He gets into a fight with this guy, same weight, same height, who's been training for 2.5 hours a day for a year at an MMA gym. Chael, should we expect a meaningful difference between those two fights? Or should we expect the guy in the second scenario to get beaten just as badly as the guy in the first?
Okay, so for the most part, yes, that would be ridiculous. As with anything, right? A guy watches a whole bunch of basketball, and so he's going to go play LeBron or something along these lines. MMA is a little bit more serious because this is a contact sport, right? If some random fan could get a game of pig with LeBron, sure, he's going to come up second, but he can laugh and smile and everybody can go home, right? Point proven. MMA is a little different. I mean, what are you going to do? You go throw somebody down and start running elbows into their face to try to prove the point that you're better at your sport than they are at theirs. I mean, so it's kind of one of those weird spots. But yeah, you would be completely correct. There is no guy just walking the streets, no matter how tough he is, that could go head to head with a trained MMA athlete. Similar to the guy that wants to play pig, but he calls out LeBron James. That is true. Now, much like the rules of pig, if I play LeBron in a game of pig, I'd have a good chance. But let me remind you, if you guys ever played pig and you go first, you can do what's called call a shot. So let's say you have a trick shot, a granny shot, a behind the head swoosh shot. If you call that and you win and it stays with you, the other person has to match the shot. So I got a couple of trick shots. If I got to go first and I could sink a couple, I could give LeBron problems. Don't tell me how silly that is. That's how pig is played. Well, the same thing goes in MMA. A guy, even off the street, if he's a tough guy and he has the courage to go do it, oh, and by the way, he just has some natural power. I mean, that power is a real thing. And even an MMA guy, he doesn't have any better chin than a guy off the street at all. That isn't true. An MMA guy would be good at hiding his chin. He'd be good at rolling with the punches, even slipping the punches. But if one landed, his chin is not any better than just some guy he could end up with. The reason I bring that up is because there is documented stories where this very thing has happened and the MMA guy came up short. I'll give you an example. My friend and teammate, Benji Raddick, did a fight in Washington State for Dennis Hallman, who was his coach and friend, but also the promoter of the event. And there was a local tough guy. Some local tough guy that sits at the corner of the bar and everybody's scared of him for absolutely no reason. One of those types deals, small show. Everybody knew this guy in the corner of the bar. Dennis got him to fight Benji, and he goes, look, you get nothing to fight Benji because you have no chance to fight Benji. But if you beat Benji, I'll give you $5,000 in cash. Something along these lines. But I remember the incentive, maybe the guy did get something to show up, but the incentive was $5,000 in cash. More than this show's even going to bring in, right? I mean, this was Dennis's way of saying, you have no chance, but I'll give you the chance. So they go out there, and Benji, who's a fantastic fighter, by the way, throws a kick that misses, and it was kind of one of those missing kicks just to let the guy know and let the audience know, look at some of the tools that I have, right? It was a picture-perfect technique kick designed to show the audience and to show the opponent a little different level of skill, and you've disrespected me and the sport, and now here's where I get our respect back. Well, in the process of doing that, he also put his hands down. He got a little flashy, and sure enough, Joe Tough Guy from the bar stepped in and hit him. Benji got knocked out. I mean, the whole fight was like 15 seconds, so it wasn't only did Benji lose, he lost to the... Anything that could go wrong went wrong. And I'm not speaking out of school. This story is well told. It just hasn't been told in a number of years. So perhaps you didn't know it. But I offer that to you as an example. Was it Ray Mercer fought Tim Sylvia? Tim Sylvia wasn't just a fighter, he was a champion of the world. Now, Ray Mercer wasn't just a tough guy, he was a former world champion in boxing, but this was an MMA fight. And it was a little small show, and there wasn't very much money, but Mercer wanted to do it. Mercer came out, same deal. Tim Sylvia didn't take that power, didn't show the respect to that power that he wished that he would have. And one thing that happens about that, when those guys step in and land, I guess the point I'm trying to make is the chin is the same. Now, the skills of an MMA fighter to roll with it, to protect himself, to know how to take the heat off it, to know how to block and deflect, those are all developed over years, and those are a very real thing. But if anyone was to leave some of their guard behind and just underestimate their adversary, much like LeBron in a game of Pig with me, crazier things have happened.
Uncle Chael, there's no bad guy like Uncle Chael. Never lost, not even a round, undefeated